What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have a very fun and kind of unique team that we're going to be running today. Now, Medicham and Noctowl are meta and they're strong, but I wanted to give Oranguru a try again. It was released a little while back, I believe in 2022, and it hasn't really been used. And it has a good typing, has a good moveset, it has some good bulk, so I want to utilize it on a team. So I'm going to go ahead and pair it with Medicham and Noctowl and use it as the safe swap. Now, we have wins and losses today, but let's see what this Pokemon and this team is capable of. Alright, moving into the first battle, we have Medicham on the lead versus Shadow Swampert. So, this is kind of a tough lead, but they actually decide to swap into Gliscor here, which is actually very good for us, because what we can do is safely no-shield this Night Slash, and then we can get ourselves shield advantage here with Ice Punch, and then we're going to come in with that Noctowl into this matchup, as the Sky Attack and Wing Attack damage are really going to add up, and we have that extra bulk where a Night Slash can't one-shot us. We don't have to worry about the Earthquake, so we're in a very good position. Night Slash, as you can see, doesn't do too much damage. We basically just got to pray that they don't get the boost with Night Slash. That is what's always fearful when facing off against a Gliscor. So Sky Attack does land, almost taking out the Gliscor, which is perfectly fine. We can no-shield this next Night Slash and then farm down. Now, we're going to have that Swampert matchup potentially on the back end, and they actually decide to swap out right into it, which is perfect because now we put a lot of pressure here with Sky Attack to try to get shield number 2, and if they don't, they get chunked down below 30% HP, which is a beautiful situation for confusion from Oranguru or counter damage from Medicham. So we're going to go ahead and let the Hydro Cannon go through. Medicham can easily come in and farm down with counter. I will have to give up a shield here on the next Hydro Cannon, but we should be able to counter down in time before they get to a third Hydro Cannon, which we do. Gliscor is low and out of energy, and the final Pokemon is going to be Alolan Ninetales Shadow at that. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Psychic, force that final shield, and then now swap into Oranguru. And our lose condition here is if they catch the charge move on Gliscor. So we see that they do decide to swap. We're going to go ahead and farm down and now go for the Future Sight, and that is going to be a good game. And this is what's so cool about Oranguru, is its ability to just kind of bulk down Pokemon like we see against a Shadow Charm Alolan Ninetales right there, and we still had another shield, so good game. Alright, Medicham versus Shadow Obamasnow. Now, this is a very positive lead matchup, and they swap out into Sableye, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Noctowl. Noctowl is really going to be our best answer here against Sableye, as we don't need to fear the foul plays or return. We can shield later on in this fight if we need to. As you can see, Foul Play doesn't do too much damage, and because we are part normal typing, Shadow Claws are heavily resisted. So we're going to go ahead and go for a Sky Attack here, and they decide to let it go. So now, in this situation, I want to load up a little bit on energy and then go for the Sky Attack, because they're going to try to go for the Hail Mary return, so I throw the Sky Attack just before they can get it. Now, Obamasnow coming back in is going to have to throw Weather Ball. If they don't, or if they don't shield here, obviously we're putting a lot of pressure with Sky Attack, and they decide to let it go. Boom! Down goes Obamasnow, and it is Medicham in the back, so that's going to be a good game. They decide to surrender right there. They're kind of cornered to an extent with my team. Alright, Nidoqueen making a return here in Game 3. This is a tough lead for us, so we're going to go ahead and swap into Oranguru right away. Get that confusion damage down. We get 2, which is beautiful. And in comes a Tropius, which is very interesting, and it's also going to set us up later on, but I'm going to go ahead and go for Future Sight in this situation. I really want to take Switch or just apply shield pressure early, so we do get the shield. And now we're just going to try to do as much confusion damage as possible, as they're deciding to go for the Leaf Blade. Now, this is a good position to no-shield. We can lose Switch. When we have a Medicham versus a Nidoqueen, it's better to have shield advantage for that because of the Psychic and Ice Punch. Both do super effective damage, and Noctowl here in this situation can really load up on energy. I'm not going to load up and just fully farm down. I think I'll lose too much health, but I'm going to load up to 2 Sky Attacks and then have one banked for the Nidoqueen. So we're going to go ahead and throw that Sky Attack now. If Nidoqueen comes back in, Sky Attack's obviously going to be threatening it and might force that shield, and we'll see what else they have in the back. So Tropius down, Nidoqueen is coming back in, and we have a charge move ready to go. So let's see what they decide to do. They're deciding to let it go. I'm like, okay, maybe they're weak in the back. I'm going to go ahead and look to, I believe I gave up a shield here on the, no, I decided to let the Poison Fang go through. I'm going to counter swap now into Medicham to start farming down, and I'll shield, but they decide to surrender. So I'm not sure what they had in the back. My guess is a dark type back there, so Medicham was going to take it anyways. All right, Medicham Mirror Fight. So this is kind of tough, and what I tried to do, they decided to swap out right away into Gliscor anyways, but there was some other, I believe other Medicham fights is going to be later on, where I try to catch the Psychic on Oranguru. But this Ice Punch here is going to be getting us a shield. We're going to go ahead and swap. This is the same situation as a game earlier. But the difference between that game and this game, which is scary, is, you might have guessed it, it gets the attack boost. This Pokemon now is something to fear. Gliscor with a boost is so deadly, and we're going to go ahead and go for a Sky Attack. They're likely going to be shielding here because they have that attack boost, so they want to try to get us as low as possible, and they do decide to give up shield number 2. Now, this is a situation where I make a mistake. I decide to shield, which is fine, but what I'm going to do is load up on extra energy, and I overload too much and throw on CMP tie, which means I lose. So, lose CMP tie. Let's see if we can still pull it around, but odds are we're not. So, I'm going to go ahead and come in with Oranguru to try to farm down, but I noticed that I'm like, okay, maybe I have an opportunity here to catch the charge move on Medicham, and the Night Slash just does so much damage that was definitely a mistake. So they're going to come in with their own Medicham and farm me down. I should have just stuck with Oranguru and fully farmed down and kept the health on Medicham. So I've made 2 mistakes now in this game, which is going to be very tough to come back from. 1 mistake is already too much, right? You make 1 mistake, your opponent can capitalize on it. So we had a boost, we had an overcharge on my Noctowl, and then we had a sack swap into Medicham to try to get fancy with it, and it ended up just destroying me. So, 3 key things happened in order to lose, but ultimately that's going to be a good game and a testament to how fun Gliscor can be if you get that boost, right? You can actually sweep teams, which is a lot of fun. So we're going to go down right here. We don't even get to see the 3rd Pokemon, and that happens sometimes in Go Battle League. So, good game. All right, moving next one, we got Medicham versus Medicham. All right, this might be the one where I try to catch it on Oranguru. So we're going to go ahead and load up on energy, and I'm just playing this based off of my own energy. So I'm going to go ahead and swap on Psychic, but they don't throw. Instead, they come in with Shadow Grand Ball, and obviously, you're seeing what I'm seeing. It's probably Double Charm in the back, so we got to be very, very careful here. Now, what's great about Oranguru is, again, it's Bulk. Bulk plus Confusion here with the added normal typing makes it, I know we don't have the same coverage as like Hypno, which was really popular last year in 2021 and 2022, but this time that added normal typing helps out. Now, they take us out, but this is a good opportunity to come with a Noctowl and load up on energy. I can't come back in with Medicham, I'm just going to get Charmed down, but I can come in with Noctowl and give myself a fighting chance, because if there's another Charmer in the back, then we're looking pretty good considering we're ahead on energy. So we're going to go ahead and shield this Ice Punch as they're desperately wanting to throw it, and let's see what they decide to do. We're going to go ahead and go for Sky Attack on CMP tie, and my guess is they might be weak to Noctowl in the back considering they came in with a Medicham here. So we throw the Sky Attack, and if they decide to let this go, this could get very dicey very quickly. So they decide to let it go, and they swap into Charm Alolan Ninetales. So now I'm going to be forced to go for the Shadow Ball here. And then my win condition is potentially swapping back out into Medicham now, which is interesting, but we have Ice Punches ready to go. Now this is resisted by the Alolan Ninetales, but I have so much energy here, and they decide to shield, which is beautiful. And now I need to go for another Ice Punch, but I go for it late. I should have just thrown it right away. Reason being, I could come in with Knockdown, Farm Down, but we survive the Weather Ball. Medicham, you beautiful little fighting type Pokemon. We get the Ice Punch in time. This is not enough to KO, but what it does is it gets the Alolan Ninetales low enough where I can farm down with Wing Attack. Medicham has no energy, so we should be able to fast move down, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one, we got Medicham versus Medicham again. So this is going to be another game where I think I swap. I try to make the swap. Now, what's interesting here and what I should take note after doing this or reflecting on this, as you see, I try to make the swap and they just don't throw it, is wait for the second one. But in this case, we actually draw out a Bastiodon, which is going to give our Noctowl some play on the back end, potentially. We'll have to see. Now, we don't have anything like absolutely destructive that can one-shot a Bastiodon, but we can chip health with Foul Play, and because of our bulk, we might be able to get multiples off. Now, the bad side of being this bulky for us and not doing that much damage to Bastiodon is they're going to be able to fully farm us down and get off probably 2 flamethrowers, but they instead decide to throw energy right here, which is fine by me because I can come in with Medicham and farm down. We're going to go ahead and just fully counter down. They decide to throw the flamethrower, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go. Again, I'm reading that Noctowl might be able to sweep for me since the Bastiodon is on the field. They decide to stay in. I have massive energy. I'm going to go ahead and look. I think I go for Ice Punch here in this situation, because if Medicham comes back in, yeah, I go for the Ice Punch here because they might have Galarian Stunfisk in the back, might be the opportunity, and they might want to shield. So they do shield, which is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and shield myself, and then I'm going to look to go for a Psychic right away if I can. Now, they threw Psychic right there, which is perfect. So we absorbed a lot of energy into that shield, and hopefully this Psychic lands against them, which it does, and now I can counter swap into Noctowl. And they actually have a Toxapex in the back. Ruh-roh, this thing is so bulky. I'm going for Sky Attacks here. One of these charge moves they might eventually shield, and I really don't want the Shadow Ball to land into the shield, so I'm just going to keep going for Sky Attacks at this point. And the way Toxapex wins this is going double Sludge Wave. If they try to go, yeah, they have to go double Sludge Wave here, and I think they have enough time to do it because Toxapex is just so tanky. They still have a shield. So we shield right there. We stop the Sludge Wave. I have another Sky Attack. Switch Clock is coming back up, so I do have a win con here. I need to catch this next Sludge Wave on my Medicham. So stare at that Switch Clock. I don't get it in time. They get to the next charge move. This is so devastating. As Toxapex is able to hang on, Sludge Wave my Noctowl, and then they come back in with Medicham, and they're going to be able to wrap it up as they do have an Ice Punch ready to go. And that's basically going to take me out as we counter down each other. So that is going to be a good game right there. Toxapex and Bastiodon really kind of tough to take down. Alright, we got Medicham versus Galarian Stunfisk. Alright, finally, a very good lead for us, which we love to see. We're going to see them swap out right away into Lantern, but my opponent makes a mistake, and I included this video. I don't typically include battles where sometimes the opponent has a wrong moveset. Not that it's not typical, but it's just not as effective. But I wanted to make an emphasis on this, that you always want to reference PvPoke. If you guys don't know what PvPoke is, it's a fantastic website that gives you access to all the data that you need to know what moveset, what rankings, team building, all that kind of stuff. So on here, this Lantern has Charge Beam as the fast move when you want Spark. Oranguru would have taken mid-game switch anyways for me, so that's fine. But it's just something really to note because I know a lot of trainers out there watching right now are somewhat new to Go Battle League, or you've been away for so long that you weren't aware that, oh yeah, Spark is kind of the better one right here. I didn't know that. I heard it got Surf. So just something to note, and no knock on this trainer. It happens to everyone. I have gone into sets using the wrong move on accident because I just didn't TM it away. It happens. It's totally fine, but we're in a good position right here as we come back into it. Oranguru got us the mid-game switch. It kept Noctowl away from Lantern, and now we have the Galarian Stunfisk very, very low, which means Medicham can easily come in and farm down. Now this Earthquake is going to hurt, but I don't need to shield it in order to win this matchup. I would rather have a shield for the back end, which is going to be a Noctowl mirror match. Now the way we're going to win this game is actually with our Medicham. We're going to have to let our Noctowl go down to theirs, but we should be able to come in and farm down with our own Medicham and then take out the Galarian Stunfisk with counter. So they do decide to give up their final shield right there, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm going to save it for my Medicham. My Medicham is about 50% HP. Yeah, basically exactly on 50%, which means when I get this Noctowl low enough, the hardest hitting move left in the game is gonna be the Sky Attack from a Noctowl. Yes, there's also Earthquake, but the Galarian Stunfisk just used all its energy, so it's not gonna get there in time by the time I can counter it down. So I no-shield everything right here, and I'm gonna trust in Medicham to take out the Noctowl. As you guys can see, I decided to go for Ice Punch right here. I don't think Switch Clock was just up yet. as Ice Punch now is going to be taking them out, and now we can safely counter down the Galarian Stunfisk, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. This team, kind of fun to use today, obviously, has some troubles. The Bastiodon coming into Oranguru is kind of tough, but overall, I had a lot of fun, and it was kind of unique. A nice little throwback to Oranguru, kind of see if we can mix it in here. So it's Medicham, Noctowl, and Oranguru. If you're watching this and going, okay, what Pokemon should I invest in? Obviously, Medicham and Noctowl is highly suggested. Oranguru is just a spicy pick. If you guys have it on your roster from before, maybe give it a try, have a little bit of fun, see what you can do. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.